Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with me, Nikki, where you get to sew with me. We're going to go through another real-time tutorial where you get to make things for yourself and your family and your friends. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, go ahead and join that group. It's called Sewing Made Easy with Nikki. I answer your questions based upon projects that we're working on and other sewing questions. All right, so today what we are going to do is we are going to make a project that you can use in your home, in your kitchen. Hoping that everyone is trying to be a little bit greener, you know, the whole big 3 R's. We want to try to either use reusable shopping bags, or if you can't use reusable shopping bags, at least try to save and reuse the shopping bags that you get from the store. So today we are going to make a plastic bag holder. That's what we're gonna do. I don't have a lot of plastic bags because I use reusables, but we're going to make something that you can actually store plastic bags in, and this is another great gift that you can give to your family and friends. So let's get started. All right, so for the project today, you are going to need a 6-inch piece of elastic. So you can use any size up to 1/2 inch. Well, go 1/4 inch elastic. I wouldn't go any thicker than that, okay? We're going to need some outer fabric only. You don't need any lining for this project, so it's a pretty simple project. So what you're going to need is a 12 by 15 inch. This is 12 across, so we have 12 wide, okay, and then you have 15 for your length, okay? You can alter this once you learn how to do the project. You can make it longer if you want to, wider if you want to, okay? But for this specific project, this is a 12 by 15 inch outer piece of material. You're then going to need, for the strap, 3 inches wide by 15, okay? So you need 3 pieces of material. 3 pieces of items. The outer portion, the strap piece, and the elastic. So let's get started. Oh, grab your iron as well. You're gonna need your iron, you know, something to iron on. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fold up a small portion of this outer fabric. You can fold up, if you can fold up as tiny as you can, just a tiny bit. I'm going to say 1/8 inch. I'm going to fold up just a tiny bit. We want to get rid of the raw edges that's here. Okay, so I'm just folding up. You can do 1/8 or you can do 1/4. Okay, just tiny, because we're going to fold this again so that we see those final piece. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this up one more time. The goal for this here, for this portion that we're working on right now, we want to create a casing for the elastic to go into. Okay, that's what we're starting with. So in this particular one, I have a wider piece of elastic, but if you're choosing a thicker elastic, like a 1/4 inch, you want to make sure that that elastic can fit inside of there. So that is what we're doing now. So depending on what size elastic you're using, you're going to fold it up so that your elastic fits inside. I know that this is going to fit in here. Okay. All right. So then we're going to iron this down. So I'm folding this right here at about 1/2 inch. Okay, knowing that my elastic is going to fit. Okay. Okay, so now that we created the casing space, let's take it to the iron, and what we're going to do is we are going to sew a line close to the edging all the way across. Okay, so go ahead and put it in the machine. Remember to back stitch. I'm sewing really close. I'm sewing really close to the edge. All I want to do is create a pocket for the elastic. Remember to back stitch at the end. Okay. So what I've done is that right there. So I want you to grab that 6-inch piece of elastic. You're also going to need a safety pin. Okay. Forgot to tell you the safety pin at the beginning of the video. Okay, so thread it through, not threaded. Put your elastic on the end of the safety pin, and let's thread it through the casing that we just did. Okay, we want to push it, push it, push it, push it. All right, I like this succulent fabric because since it's summertime, it just seems like the garden and it's springy. Okay, before you put it through on the all the way, pay attention to the end of the casing. Okay, don't let the elastic slip through. What we want to do now is you want to put a stay stitch right at the end. I'm just grabbing it because it went a tiny bit further than I wanted it to. That's okay, I know how to do it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a stay stitch. Make sure you grab it before it goes through all the way. Okay, let's put a stay stitch so that the elastic does not go through all the way. Okay. Let's see what that is. Why? See, real time sewing, guys, real time sewing. Nothing is wrong with you. Absolutely nothing. All right, put it back in. There you see, there you have it, folks. And it caused a bunch of gathering with the thread. Okay. Going back under. Oh, my thread came out. All right, real time issues. Okay. All right, here we go. Stay stitch that elastic. Okay. That moment when a simple project is a project. Okay, go back to that safety pin, continue threading it through. Okay, I just flipped mine. Okay, I'm going to pull the safety pin so that I get a little bit of it out. Okay, you see that? That's where the safety pin, that's where the elastic ends. I'm going to put a stay stitch there. Okay. And all we did right now is create the pocket. Back stitching. Okay. Take your safety pin out. Cut off anything that's hanging outside. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the top. I'm gonna iron this because my fabric was on the fold. Okay, let's turn down these this top part so that we don't see those raw edges. Okay, this is the top part. We are going to create what's similar to another casing, but we're not going to put any elastic in here. This is going to be the opening of the top. It's going to be for where you put the plastic bags inside of. Okay, so I folded down a little bit. I'm folding down another portion, and that's about 1/2 inch. We got rid of the, you know, the raw edges. And now this is the pretty part that we are left with. Okay. Okay. So now this is our bag opening. What we want to do is put another line stitching. We want to close this up so it looks like a casing. So we're going to take this to the machine and put stitching all the way down. You want to go close to your fold. Very good. Almost done with the project. Cutting off my stragglies. Okay, let's close this up now. We want our pretty side, so we have the bottom already done. You can see it's actually already started to gather there, which is what we want. Okay, we have our top part. We have our top part nice and pretty for us. We want to bring these two ends to meet, so that these end pieces right here, we're going to sew them. It's very rare that I tell you to let your raw edges show, but for this particular project, we're gonna let them show because this is just going in our kitchen. Okay, so let's sew from the top. You should have them both meet each other now. Your ends meet each other, and we want to sew with 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down the sides. I'm actually lining up my machine so that I'm sewing with my second guide marker. I'm sewing where my fabric is meeting the second guide marker there. I just really like that, that guide marker. Okay. I'm gonna make sure I hold these together so they don't shift as I sew. I'm getting back down to the elastic. When you get down to the bottom part where the elastics meet each other, be sure that you take your time going over it. You're sewing through 2 layers of the elastic, so go slow and back stitch. And I'm just going forward again. Okay. If you have pinking shears, this is where you can use the pinking shears to actually prevent a little bit of fray. So pinking shears look like this. You can leave it as it is, or you can cut your edges with pinking shears. This is what pinking shears look like. So it's your choice. It isn't anything that's mandatory for you to do. All right, so if you turn it the right way, this is what you have right now. Okay, so you have what looks like, I don't know what it looks like. It's the body of it. So, and what we're going to do now is we're going to prepare the handle that's going to go on the top. This is where the plastic bags are going to come out. Okay, so let's prepare the handle. Set this to the side. Move my pin. So go ahead and grab that 3" by 15" piece that you had. And what we're going to do is fold it, turn it over so that your pretty side is on the bottom. What we're going to do, we're going to create what I've done in other videos for a few things. We're going to fold it so that our raw edges meet each other. Okay, this way we know where we get the middle. We know where we're going to get the middle of our fabric. Okay, bring that raw edge in to meet the middle on both sides. Okay, that first ironing crease that you did, it doesn't need to be heavy. It doesn't need to be ironed for a long time. You don't need a big crease because that crease is going to disappear once you iron this portion of the project. Again, it's just to tell us where the middle of the fabric is so that we can create this. We have both sides meeting each other now. Now we just want to fold it over so that we have a nice tab, a nice pretty tab. Okay, so now optional, you can sew both sides of this handle so that they look like this, both sides. Or if you're in a rush, just sew that part closed for the, sew the opening closed. Okay, some people do that. I iron both sides because it looks really good. And if you're giving it as a gift, you want to make sure it looks good. So go ahead and sew down the parts for the tab. I'm going fast on my foot, but you take your time if you need to. I'm leaving it in, I'm pivoting, which means my needle is staying down in the fabric. I am going to turn it and then I'm going to sew straight. Now I'm going to pivot again. So I'm pushing down. I'm going to stop when my needle is in the down position. I'm going to lift up the handle for my foot so it allows my fabric to turn. I'm going to push it down and I'm going to line my fabric back up to go down the other end. And I'm sewing on the first guide marker for this side. I really like to make sure I follow these guidelines, so I make sure I get a straight line lined up the entire way. And it's really easy. If you're watching your fabric, you can see that you're getting a stitch line that's the same distance from the edge of the fabric. Okay. So our handle is prepared now. And this is going to be the last part of our project. We want to attach the handle on. Okay, so what you're going to do is find the middle of your project, and you know the middle of your bag because your seam is there. Put your seam in the back. What I like to do when doing this is I like to iron down the top. This is going to let me know where to place my handles. It's a smart guide to help me so that I know, oh, okay, so this is where the handles go on each side. Okay, so fold in a little bit of the end of the handle. It doesn't matter. You can do a 1/2 inch, you can do an inch, whatever you would like to do. Okay, and what we're going to do is place it on the inside. But here's the trick to this. Okay, when you're folding, placing it inside, you want the part that you fold under not to be seen. So what you want to do is put it on the inside of the fabric on the opposite side. So you see that? All right, so I'm putting this here because I don't want to see it. Look on this side. Okay, so you know how to notice how you don't see the part sticking up? That's what we want. Okay, all right. You can move it down a little if you think you're going to see it. What we're going to do now is we're going to sew a square. I'm going to start at this portion of the bag, of the casing, where the casing and the handle attach. I'm going to sew across. I'm going to sew down, come across, and back up. So I'm going to sew a square. Okay. Remember to backstitch. Okay. I like to meet up those sewing lines. Going down to the bottom, turning again, Now, if you would like to, you can put an X in the middle of it. Because I know nothing heavy is going in here, I'm not going to sew an X. If you were sewing, let's say, for instance, tote bags or something, you would want to sew an X, but nothing heavy is going in here. So for time purposes, I'm just not going to put an X. Okay, so get that handle, and again, you know where the fold is. So get that handle, and you're going to just fold it up, fold a small portion just like you did on the other side, and get that middle portion, stick that handle there in the middle. Okay, great, looks beautiful. I'm gonna do the same thing I did on the other side. I'm gonna sew a square. Okay, take your time. Okay, and hold on. I'm gonna hold this for a second because my thread came out. Okay, I'm not gonna hold it for a second because I have to rethread this here. I think this is probably only the second video I've done where I've had to rethread my machine. Go through. Okay. And that fell. Okay, and you got to find my middle again. There it is. Guys, I could cut this video so that you don't see this, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it there. So you can see that these things do happen. Okay. Okay, back stitching again. And sewing to the end. And a back stitch because I love back stitching at corners. And we are done. Remember, like I said, if you want to go ahead and sew an X, you can. Okay. This is where we get rid of those stragglies. Okay. Which is part of your final portion of the project, just cleaning it up so that it looks good. Okay, and then this is where you would actually take your plastic bags. If you have your plastic bags, you stick it down in there, and as as they're used, depending on who, if you're going to use it or you make it for someone, what will happen is eventually this is the space where you'll pull the plastic bag. And then if you want to make this hook here, the handle, a little smaller, I did 15 inches only because it was the length of what was already cut for the project. You can do it smaller, but I do not recommend doing it any lower than 10 because look, then your handle will be really, really small and you want to be able to hang it. So that's it, guys. You can actually make a matching set for the kitchen. Go and make some pot holders, make a bowl holder that matches. Do different things. You can give them as a gift set for someone that you know. And if you need to see those videos, I have those videos in my playlist as well for bowl holders and pot holders because they're really quick projects to make. So not the bowl holder, but the pot holders. So if you have questions, put them down below. You can go ahead and join my Facebook group. Again, that's Sewing Made Easy with Nikki. Subscribe to the channel here on YouTube so that you can see more real-time tutorials. So that's all for now. I will see you back for another video next week. All right, bye guys. Thanks for stopping by.